dropping down the leaderboard.
Hey, what's up? Oh man.
Are you sick?
No, I'm just like super out of it, super tired. I've been like working like a month.
Yeah.
Tired.
Had a
But
pretty busy
yeah,
week.
man. Yeah, it's been busy. New
Congrats,
kids,
by the
all
way.
that fun stuff. Yeah, thanks, dude. I'm excited.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I've been doing that, and then you know, just working. So I know last week I wasn't here because literally like a week ago today my son was born, and so I was at the hospital doing that whole thing. So I kind of did not have the opportunity to stop by
A little
last
busy.
week. A little busy, sorry, guys. But this week I'm here,
You don't need to be
and
sorry, dude.
so last week was actually like a year from when Carrie Fisher had passed. So my original plan was to talk about Carrie Fisher a little bit, and then talk about Kylo Ren. But that ship has kind of sailed a little bit. So not to say I don't want to talk about Carrie Fisher because she's awesome.
Yeah.
It's just not as relevant as it was
That's true.
last week. So so this week I wanted to talk about Kylo, but I'm gonna wait till Adam comes just because you know, I want to hear what he has to say about, you know, what
Yeah, I
I'm
gotcha.
talking about. So, I'll wait till Adam shows up for that. He said he might be running a chat.
Sounds good.
Until then, I was just gonna shoot around and play some Galactic Assault until we meet up. Andy's with us playing. He doesn't have a mic though, so
He needs to get a mic, dude. It'd be fun.
It
looks like he plays pretty often.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's just got the game, I think, recently,
okay.
and just got a system recently. Just got the PS4, so I know. So I have Friday, so I'll probably just be. I can manage to stay awake playing. So. I need to level up.
Yeah, you got a lot going on though. I'm hoping they do a double XP or something coming up. They haven't really done that yet.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
No, they haven't.
But they've been handing out credits pretty nicely. I got like 2 crates that were like celebratory crates that gave me like 4,000 credits.
Yeah, that's true. I have like 1,400 or like 14,000. I mean, stashed up right now. Yeah. So I'm just waiting. I don't know what I'm waiting for, but I'm trying to figure out what kind of loot crates I want to get. If I want to get like,
go
with
the star. I go with the hero crates because they're cheaper and they come with like 50 crafting points. So really, you don't need to even it's not even worth buying the trooper crates because you can just upgrade those cards with crafting points.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I think that's what most people do, just buy the cheapest one because it comes with a good amount of crafting points anyways.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'll have to start buying some of those then, because I haven't really been spending them. And then I have I think 500 or so crafting parts saved up right now.
Oh dang, dude! What are you saving up for?
Oh, you know what I'm saving up for is the next level of my heavy class, because my heavy class is like the one I use more than anything.
Yeah.
And I have the couple star cards I use a lot maxed out right now.
Already?
So they're maxed out on the level that I can use them at.
Oh,
so,
I gotcha.
They're all blue, and I can't go up to purple until I get to a certain level, I think.
Yeah, you have to upgrade the other trait cards to get that up.
Yeah, so I'm trying to do that now. So that's what I'm saving it for, because I want my heavy to be super intense.
Yeah, I just unlocked Emperor Palpatine on Xbox, so I'm trying to unlock him here. He's probably the best. I don't know, not the best, but probably the most fun to play. He just talks trash the entire game. It's pretty funny. It's really funny. I love using him. So I'm trying to save up for him, but saving up for 10,000 used to be easy when you're leveling up every game, but now it's pretty tough. I waited too long.
like most of the characters.
Oh, you're cutting out a little bit.
Oh, sorry.
There you good. Oh my. I just killed quite a few of them. Oh, what? Why is that guy looking at me? I still can't hear you, man. I think you're cutting out.
Yeah, my mic keeps cutting in and out.
Ah, there you are. You're back.
Yes, I am back. Keeps cutting in and out.
You sound so tired.
Oh yeah, dude, I'm so beat. I'm so beat. I just had to go to a coach's meeting too for my daughter's basketball. So I had to like run out and do that.
Oh, you're coaching? That's cool.
Yeah, it's fun man. It's fun. It's small, so it's easy. Like pass, drills, simple stuff. You know.
Teach them the fundamentals.
Yes, the fundamentals.
Are you the head coach?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's cool. Like I did it for soccer. And I think we did another season. I did like season basketball before this too. So it's getting to kind of be like a routine thing now. So she's like getting those kids a little bit.
Yeah. That's cool though. That's the kind of stuff they're gonna remember forever. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, no, it should be fun. It should be fun. Mostly because I'm a control freak, so I'm like, yeah, I'd rather just be the coach, so that way I don't have to watch them do this.
Instead of being the angry dad on the sideline, you're the coach. I like it.
Exactly. It makes sense. So.
That way they can't scream at you. If you don't like it, then coach.
Exactly.
That's cool, man. Do you have a team name yet?
I think they do give a name for us. I think we're the Hurricanes.
Ooh, the Hurricanes.
Yeah. I wish I could.
They don't let you choose your own team name?
No, they don't.
That's weak.
They don't. Yeah, it's pretty lame. I was like, oh well, that sucks. But you know what? It's probably for the better, so that way we don't wind up being like the Vaders or something like that.
The Vaders. I like it.
Something ridiculous.
That'd be pretty cool too. So did you end up seeing the movie again?
Yes, I did.
What did you think about it the second time?
I feel much differently about it the second time around.
A lot less sad.
For sure. I mean, yeah, it's easier to deal with it. I don't know. It's like kind of like easier to like digest, I think, without like going into it with the pretext of like, oh, this is what I want it to be.
Yep, exactly.
Kind of watching it for what it is.
That's exactly how I had to do it, because the first time I think the bar was set way too high, and then the second time I was like,
and I don't even know if it was that my bar
even though
was set high.
Yeah.
More like I just was like, as a Star Wars fan, I was kind of like putting like precursors on it.
A little salty.
Just, like, watching the movie.
Yeah, like what we thought we knew would happen.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's why I had to watch. That's why I had to go see it. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's not that I regret anything I said about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, what you said is still valid. It's just, I know what you mean. Yeah. I feel like a lot of people had the same frustrations as you.
Yeah, so I understand people's frustrations, but I also now can like say like, well, you know, relax a little bit. It wasn't as bad as we're thinking. We're just like, you know what I equate it to? How people who saw the movie in the 70s must have felt when they saw the prequel. Yeah, they must have freaked out.
Yeah, you're right. Like,
I can imagine that we're.
What is a Jar Jar? Yeah. Getting salty about porgs. Yeah, you're right about that. Adam just invited me. Alright, Adam's coming in.
I was gonna say we are streaming, aren't we? I haven't checked YouTube.
Yeah, we are. Let me check.
The turbo lasers. Setting shutdown
Said we were.
command.
Yeah, we're live. We're live. So once he pops on, you can ask us or talk about Kylo.
Kylo's Ren.
What's up, fools?
Swallow Ren.
What's up, man?
Hey, Dad.
Some loser sent me a Porg shirt.
Shutting down the
Oh, you got it?
Dude, it's so sick.
I know.
I wear it every day of my life. It's gonna get it sewn into my skin and tattooed on my chest.
Glad you like it.
Nice.
turbo laser shutdown starting.
Sorry I'm late. Work
No,
sucks.
it's no worries, man.
I know.
Thanks for showing up, dude.
Yeah, I'm like Jared.
I'm right here, guys. Right here.
And, is it in the game part?
Whoa. Is he lagging on your end?
He doesn't have
He's talking.
Someone's downloading.
Guys,
I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
guys, can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Are you still there? What's going on? Did I miss anything fun?
Not really.
Well,
You
No.
missed me getting murdered. Ooh, I think I can be Ray now.
Working the hangar controls.
Granddaddy Ray Ray.
Let's see what we can do.
Granddaddy Ray Ray. I can't.
I can do this.
He keeps like cutting in and out, but
No.
for majority of the time you can hear him.
Sick.
Prepping hangar controls.
Guess I'll be Finn. I don't really want to be. I'll be Finn.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. No,
Yes.
Okay. See,
What are you guys playing?
Galactic Assault.
Still,
Okay.
Galactic Assault. So hello. I
Mike
was in-
finally starts working, then he starts talking about something meaningful, and it stops working again.
No,
Good stuff.
did it stop working?
Yeah, you keep cutting in and out, man.
Oh my god, you know, hold on. I'm gonna actually...
You gonna stop downloading that movie?
Yeah. I'm gonna back out of something really quick.
Of our
Can you
group?
hear me?
Yeah. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, so I wanted to talk about Kylo Ren, and his story in The Last Jedi, because out of all the characters in The Last Jedi, the story arc that I found to be the most interesting was Kylo Ren's. Plus, I think he's an interesting new bad guy, and I think figuring out what's going on with him is gonna be like the key to figuring out what's going on in the next movie. Because he's such a I don't know. To me he's like a really, really big deal, and I think the next movie is gonna make it so it's mostly his story.
He's the second most important character.
That I agree
Well,
with.
because all right, so the first thing I was thinking, because I want to talk about like a bunch
he's
of
probably
things about
top 5
Kylo,
most
so-
important characters, probably.
Of all time.
So I want to talk about a couple of things with Kylo Ren. So the first thing I wanted to talk about with Kylo Ren is, how do you guys think? Can you guys still hear me? I'm sorry, my mic. is-
Yeah, we can hear you, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shut up. All right. So the second thing I want to talk about with Kylo Ren was, how do you guys think he actually ranks as far as bad guys in Star Wars?
In terms of power?
Power
in
or
terms
like
of just
evilness?
Well, just in terms of like, I don't want to say evilness. I just mean like in terms of like.
How dark
Jared,
is
you go
dark?
first. I know what you mean, Chaz. You answer first, Jared.
Wait, I don't know what he means, so you should probably answer first. Are you trying to say it's not powerful? Just
No, just in general.
how cool
Just
he
in
is?
general. Yeah, I guess so. I guess that's what I mean.
Probably fourth, third or fourth.
The AP full of he's 525.
Yeah, I put him third or fourth. He's definitely not Vader. He's definitely not Palpatine. He's
So who's
right
your
up
number
there
one?
with Maul. Vader's number one.
Right, definitely, I agree with that.
Palpatine's
then-
I
number
think
two.
that I don't know that I'd like rank them. Like,
Okay,
they
so
don't
what would
have,
you do? Would
like
you
you
give
don't
them,
have
like, a
discernible
rating system?
qualities that you can say like his strength is a 10, his strength is a 7. Like you can't go down the list like that. I don't think.
Well, he's just
because-
saying how cool they are, right? Alright, I don't know.
Right, a
Alright,
lot of
so
it's
what
based
if I
on
was to say, like-
impact. I mean, the first Darth Maul shot out his second blade. Oh my god! Like,
Yeah,
like,
that's why I put.
make a difference. I agree with both of you. I think that Vader is the ultimate. Like he's on, well, you can't really.
He's on a different
compare
level.
But I mean, he's definitely OP. Like, I feel like he's way stronger than a lot of people give him credit for. I mean, he tricked Snoke. He can use the Force in ways that we hadn't really seen before.
Allegedly.
He uses the Force in ways we hadn't seen before the Force Awakens. You know, he can catch a blaster bolt by freezing it in the air. He can mind read, and we know about those things, but he does them, you know, on screen for the first time in Star Wars.
Does stopping the blaster bolt like equal catching one?
No, he freezes it in midair, and then he has a conversation. Vader doesn't catch one; he like
He
absorbs
deflects
it. Yeah, this is like. This is like he freezes it in midair, which
And
it's
then
like
lets
pure
it go.
energy, and then he like has a conversation, and then later as an afterthought he lets it go. Like that's insane.
Yeah, he's.
I forgot about that scene. Yeah.
That's really crazy. And then he does that stuff with Rey. Like he can freeze your body, and then like get what he wants out of your brain, and then just like let you fall. Like he's pretty freaking powerful. And he's
It's
a
definitely
Skywalker,
powerful,
so,
but like coolness.
So I mean, I think that all the villains that you're gonna rank as most powerful should probably be in that family tree. So Vader and him. But I do think that he's OP. I don't get the knock on him from Force Awakens. I think he's a cool character in Force Awakens, and he gets a lot of crap for being, you know, emotional,
beat by Rey?
angsty. No, not even that. I mean, in terms
just
of
like
his,
him as a character.
his whininess, and I don't see it that way. I think that he's showing the angst that someone his character's age would go through when he's going through what he's going through emotionally.
Yeah.
And so I don't really see it as something to complain about, like a lot of people who watched Force Awakens did. But he does get wrecked by Rey and Finn without them having had much experience.
Yeah.
And he kind of gets like embarrassed by them. So so there's always that. The Luke thing I don't really put on him either, because he was in like that, to me, illustrated his ultimate downfall, and that's just that he's way too passionate and way too attached to, you know, like he says he wants to kill attachment, but really he's the most attached character in the new movies. He's the one who's like driven to fight Luke and kill him and end it, and you know he's the only one with that grudge.
Yeah,
so
Right.
that,
All right. Well, before you get too ahead of me, because you're answering questions that I was gonna ask further down the line.
I'd say eighth.
The A people.
I love Jared's answer. I don't know, fourth.
Sports mind, bro. Sports mind.
I think I
Fourth.
agree
That's
with
what
that.
Jared finished his fantasy.
Nope, I finished third.
Man.
Nice try.
Nice bragging rights.
Not really.
Erica says the Emperor was first for her,
yeah.
just because of the dedication to all the manipulation that he had to pull off.
I will say that the
definitely
Emperor
agree with
is
that. Like,
easily the
Emperor-
most pure evil. He is just, there is no inkling of redemption. And we don't know enough about Maul like I know there's a lot of Maul after Phantom Menace, but we don't know a lot about where he came from prior to the Phantom Menace.
Yeah, we did.
And
Yeah.
so it's difficult to know how much of that was him being manipulated, like Dooku, versus him being just straight evil, because he's pretty evil in Phantom Menace and thereafter. So I can't really speak to Maul, but I will say that she's right. Out of every other Sith we've ever seen, the Emperor's just without even a question the most purely evil one.
Yeah.
Without
He's
any
just a
good
bad guy. Like there's just no good part
Vader
about him.
has like good stuff about him. Even Kylo's got some like redeeming qualities from an emotional standpoint. Dooku wasn't all terrible. He was just manipulated by everybody. But the Emperor is straight evil incarnate. So I would agree with that.
Yeah. So, and then my other question was now, because I agree with you guys. Like I think he's up there. I think people are kind of bashing him a little bit in certain ways, but I think that Kylo's one of those characters that you can come at from a couple different angles, and depending on who you are and how you like see Star Wars, you'll see Kylo a little bit differently. I like Kylo, like even from The Force Awakens, from the first like moment we see him interact with Poe Dameron. I immediately liked him as a character, and then from his first freak out on, that was pretty exciting, seeing him like freak out and smash up a console. That was I thought he was pretty cool after that, because I was expecting to be this like dark, foreboding figure like Darth Vader, where he just kind of doesn't say much, and when he does, it's very powerful. But this is like this teenager guy who's like, he's just angry and
he's got issues.
He's a lot more like Anakin than he is like Darth Vader.
Exactly, and that's what I kind of liked about him, because I always kind of liked Anakin as a character, as the concept of a character. Anyway, I know.
Yeah, no, he goes through a lot, and I don't think that they get credit for going through stuff. They just get credit for how they end up, and they go through a lot to get to that point. Both him and Kyle, and it's interesting because Luke goes through a lot too. Like the good guys all go through a lot of mess as well, but they just turn out differently. But they don't get credit for that. They're just all light versus all dark, and the nuance of the character and what they go through. I think. So I like that about Kylo too. I agree with you.
So now, what do you guys think Kylo's? So now, I guess I'll start with his best. What do you guys think his best on-screen moment has been so far?
Oh, dude,
between The Last Jedi and The Force Awakens.
When him and Rey team up, I think, so far. Or when he stops the bolt in midair, which is pretty sweet. But definitely when him and Rey team up.
That part was crazy because, again, it was like totally out of nowhere. The throne room scene, you're like, alright, we know what's about to happen. Or at least we know there's gonna be a fight. But the bolt in midair, I was like, oh my god. Like, I didn't even know. Really cool. That was nuts. And then, it's weird, but I like his scene with Han on the bridge. That scene's really heavy. And after he, does the deed, and Han sort of like just holds his face for a second as his son, that hits me hard. So I really like that scene too. I wouldn't say it's the coolest thing he does on screen. I think easily the coolest thing he does on screen is the throne room. But that part hits me harder.
And it doesn't even have to be the coolest thing he does on screen, just the most memorable to you. I guess,
then definitely the Han scene.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that one was really good.
Although he's a sick pilot too. We don't really talk about that, but that 3 seconds where he's piloting in The Last Jedi.
Yeah, he was amazing.
Pretty cool scene. I know it's really short, and Poe usually gets the credit for pilot skills, but he's pretty nasty in his little tie.
It's super cool.
Silencer.
I hope we see more of that. Honestly,
that one's fun to play with too. I really. But
we didn't see a lot of Vader flying in the original trilogy, so that gives me a bad feeling about what we'll see.
That's true.
Got a bad feeling about this.
I have a good feeling about this. My favorite scene with Kylo, and most memorable to me, and just because I think I was, I'm such a Vader fanboy, was when he was kind of having that dialogue with Darth Vader's helmet.
Yeah, with his ashes and everything.
Yeah, with his ashes, and like finding out later, when I got to know more about the movie, that those ashes around that helmet are the ashes of people he's killed. And,
I thought they were Vader's ashes from his pilot.
No, those are the ashes of people that Kylo Ren has murdered.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He's a psycho person. Yeah, that's which I thought was really interesting. But that scene, and then it was the same thing that you said. It was him piloting, but specifically when he was piloting, and we saw him back off the controls, and not shoot down. I just really thought that scene, like you said, because I could think to myself in Kylo's head, I'm thinking he's thinking about his dad and his mom, not just not just thinking about Leia. He's thinking about the fact that he already killed his father, and he's pulling
what
back
it means to him.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that moment in that scene, I thought we needed those redeeming qualities to be able to.
Yeah, that was the one inkling of maybe he can come back.
Yeah, exactly. And then to have that relief of he wasn't the one to pull the trigger on his mom was kind of a nice thing.
Yeah, and we predicted that. I think we just said that, that's misleading. He's not going to pull the trigger. And that's a pretty easy thing to predict. But, I agree. That was a pretty cool scene. I also really like in Force Awakens the first time he takes off his helmet. When she's like, take off your helmet. So he just does. I was like, whoa! Because I didn't think that was going to happen. I'm like you. I thought he was going to be like a Vader type. You see him at his weakest, but only a couple times. And then all of a sudden, right in the first movie, he takes off his helmet and doesn't have a problem with it. And then also in The Last Jedi, when he smashes his helmet, that's pretty
that's true. That was a that was a good scene. I actually really did like, especially if you understand the significance between a Sith and some sort of face covering or some sort of helmet or something.
Yeah, no, that was a really big deal. He was letting go of not only everything he says he's letting go of, but I think he's letting go of just the idea of the Sith in general, and really become Vader. Total anarchist.
Yeah, he's trying to be his own thing.
Right, and that's kind of crazy because we haven't had a villain that is not like an idealistic villain before. We've had a bunch of villains that are fighting for something, but not just for pure chaos, which is his. It seems like that's his gig now. So that was a pretty cool scene too.
Now, he's been in a lot of, he's had a lot of dialogue in both movies, which not necessarily that I found surprising, but once again, our antagonists in Star Wars typically aren't the most they don't have the most lines. I mean, even if you just look at a character like Boba Fett, who had barely any.
Oh yeah, Darth Maul and Boba Fett literally
Darth Maul had barely any lines, and then even Vader, who definitely has more lines than any of the other villains, still doesn't talk as much nearly as the protagonists do. We don't hear him talk nearly as much.
Oh no, not at all.
Lucas and stuff. So Kylo by far has the most actual screen time, I feel like, as far as talking and actual having dialogue, than a lot of other villains we've seen so far. So of course he's had to have some kind of more moments that fell flat for you guys. I don't know if there have been, but if there have been any that stuck in your head, what moments were not maybe your favorite with Kylo so far?
I think that and it's not necessarily Kylo I don't like about it, but I don't like his interactions with Hux. Just because I don't really like Hux that much.
So funny,
but I think that when he doesn't communicate with his underlings the way that necessarily I would write it. And Hux, I think he considers an underling. Or like Phasma. I don't know. It's too bland. But I like how he communicates with Snoke. So I guess that would be my answer. Would be his conversations with Hux. Particularly if you're looking for a specific example, his conversation inside the Gorilla Walker, or I mean the little shuttle above the Gorilla Walker in Last Jedi. That was so stupid. Like, if there's one part of the movie that we don't need comedic relief, that's it. And it was cool because it shows that he doesn't care. He's just like he'll show his power in front of anybody, which is similar to Vader. But it was lame in that Hux is just such a sniveling weakling that he could have died in the very first shot of either movie, and I would not have been mad.
Yeah,
and
Vader
also,
would have killed him right
in
away.
retrospect, after Vader would have messed him up. And having rewatched Last Jedi now, I have no idea why Hux is the one that's given that giant speech on top of Starkiller Base. That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand why Snoke's not there instead of somewhere else. I don't understand why Kylo doesn't deliver that speech. The last person in the world that should deliver that speech.
The only reason why Hux even delivers that speech is because Hux is he's the captain or what have you,
General,
admiral, or the general of the entire army. And the only
Right, I
reason
know
why
that,
he
but
is through, because his dad did. So he only has it for that reason. So, like,
no,
you're
I
right.
get
He's not qualified to be in that
mean
position
from
at all.
From a character development standpoint.
Exactly. No, I understand what you're saying.
Why would you
like,
write
he has
him
no,
into that role?
yeah, he has no position in there at all. Because he's such a weakling. And honestly, like, at first I thought I understood the pull between Hux and Kylo as, like, maybe this rivalry thing, but Hux isn't as... Hux is no Tarkin. I guess.
No, Hux isn't a rival for Kylo. Like
exactly,
if they were peers in any way, then I would get it. But like, I don't understand what they're trying to do. Are they trying to make Kylo look super strong by comparison, or are they trying to make like the rivalry not matter at all? But to have his storyline at all literally makes zero sense to me. I just don't get it.
Yeah,
I think that they could have easily replaced all of his lines with Captain Phasma lines and made Phasma deliver that speech on the planet and do more with Phasma as Hux. Like, literally, they could have combined the two characters and got rid of either one of them. And I just don't get it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Vader and Tarkin had this whole thing where they respected each other and they were more or less equals. Obviously, Vader could like crush Tarkin at any time.
Yeah, but Tarkin would never be like, "This is my army, bro," and then like not
exactly. But Tarkin also was like, but they were also rank and file underneath Palpatine, and that was kind of like the guiding force. So
but they were never rivals. They were never like competing.
Yeah, they were never exactly. Yeah, they were never rivals. I mean, there was at one point in time. At one point in time, Vader wasn't always the keenest towards Tarkin, only because he led that trial against Ahsoka. But after like a couple of missions together, they kind of melded and they were just kind of peers, and that was that because they both had the same interest, which was total domination.
Right. In the old EU, Tarkin didn't love Vader at first, and then sent him on a mission to save his Tarkin's son. Who had been lost, and Vader murked everybody, and Tarkin had a lot of respect for him after that. But I agree. I think that their respect is mutual. I think that it's born out of working together, not against each other. And Kylo and Hux make literally no sense.
And the only reason why I make that comparison is it felt like that was the setup at first when we
That's what they're trying to get at.
Right. We were like, here's the new Tarkin, here's the new Vader, let's go. And it was neither one of them's very much like their comparison, but Hux is certainly literally nothing like Tarkin. Whereas obviously Kylo has Vader tendency.
Alright, yeah. So I mean, that's, like, to me, I think the only low point I would say was, I agree with you, where, like, there was that moment in the Guerrilla Walker, the M6, or what, ATM6, or whatever it's called.
Right.
And,
it's kind of cringy.
Like, he says something, like, where he's like, alright, fire the whatever, and then Hux repeats him.
Yeah.
And then he, like, looks back at Hux, and it was kind of like that moment where it's like, that was kind of not... Like, I didn't need that moment. And then, like,
they could have had them both in the thing. They just don't have to be funny. Like, that's the one part of the movie. Well, not the one part, but the part in the second third or second half of the movie it didn't seem to fit for me. The first chunk of the movie, I felt like that a lot. But that, after, like we talked about, after that one point in the movie where the rest of the movie I felt good about, that was the one scene where I was like, that is... Like, I don't understand what's going on. Why do they have to be funny right now? This is about to get crazy.
Yeah, and
they don't do that in any other Star Wars.
No,
that's
they
the thing.
don't.
Like, in Attack of the Clones, they've got that whole, not the casino scene, but they've got comic relief for like a third of the movie, and you're like, God, I don't need this. But once it gets serious, it's serious, and they don't really. This is the first one that has a moment of brevity within the seriousness. The whole last 2 hours of the movie could have been that crazy crate fight, and they could have had those lines taken out. And I don't think people would have been like, that was way too serious for me. So I just don't understand why they even wrote it like that, let alone had it delivered that way.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, and then I can't think of any other moment within The Force Awakens that I didn't kind of like enjoy Kylo. I mean, there was a, I mean, even, I mean, maybe the part during him and Rey's battle, but even then, I don't know. I always thought that was a pretty cool battle between the two of them. So there's really no, as far as
Where
like
didn't
Kylo,
or like didn't
what
like.
No, I know, but
yeah,
what part are you talking about? You said even then,
at the
but,
very
like, what
end
would-
between him and Rey, where it was the part where they were fighting and he like smacks his side because he's like bleeding or whatever. Yeah, it was like so. Yeah, I'm pretty, yeah, the traitor part, like that was like pretty intense.
Yeah, I like that. Just like I like when he says, "Shoot that piece of junk out of the sky." Like I get why it's memey to some people, but I like both those parts a lot.
Yeah, so I mean, he's like overall, like I said, he's one of the stronger characters from the new trilogy, and honestly, to me, he might be the strongest character out of all of them. Just because after this one, I mean, Rey in comparison to me, and I don't know how you guys feel about it, but her, I don't know, her storyline isn't interesting, as interesting to me as Kylo's is at this point. And I'm not quite sure why that is.
It's because Kylo's a Skywalker.
Maybe that's
It's because Kylo's had more revealed in this movie.
Yeah.
I think Kylo had a more defined character arc in Last Jedi than Rey had. Rey's was kind of like trained, strong, defy Luke, and that's it. Whereas Kylo
actually
did a lot more to develop himself, and also Rey, you kind of know what's going to happen. Not what's going to happen, but what decision she's going to make the whole time. There's no point where you're like, I wonder if she'll turn bad. Whereas with Kylo Ren, you're always kind of second guessing whether he's about to turn good. So I think that his story was more, interesting is not the word I'd use, but there's more to think about with him in The Last Jedi specifically. Whereas Rey, her questions weren't really answered. But I disagree in terms of liking him more. I like Rey more as a character. I think that once the new one hits, she will be developed much more in terms of like revealing who she is and what's going on and all that stuff. And I think
so
that
strong.
will sort of push her above Kylo in terms of storyline coolness as well. But I do agree that Kylo's storyline was,
yeah, they're both great.
Like
they're cool in their own way. Like Rey,
conversation for sure.
Yeah, Rey's just so good. I don't know.
Rey has like, I feel like she has that same what's it called, quality to her that we saw in Luke when we first met him.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. She's got a lot of Luke in her, and a lot of you just root for her, and she's, as an actress, she plays it well. It's a good part to have, and she does it well. So I really like Rey. I like Finn a lot too, but I liked him as like a written character way less in Last Jedi than I did in Force Awakens. But,
yeah, I agree. I think Force Awakens Finn shined really bright throughout that whole movie. And,
yeah, he was some of the
little disappointed. Yeah, honestly, he was really one of my favorite parts about The Force Awakens. Just the comic relief that he added on top of the intrigue he added, because all of a sudden we're getting to see like a stormtrooper and getting to see more about like what's going on in this First Order, and it just added a different level of not to mention John Boyega is just a pretty good actor all around. So
right.
It was.
I really like Finn a lot, but I was disappointed by how he was written in The Last Jedi.
Yeah, I agree with that. But my final question is, and this might take us the last 15, 20 minutes to talk about, is where do you want Kylo's story to go from here? Do you have any idea of where you want it to go from here? Do you even want to make a guess at this point, or do you just want to see where they're going to take it? Or do you have hopes for where you want to see Kylo's story go from here?
I haven't really thought about that. I don't think I care. Like, I don't care where any of them go. You know what I mean? I want it to be good, but I don't, like, I won't be mad if they're siblings. I won't be mad if they're, you know, I can't really think of a scenario that I would not like. As long as it's well done, you know what I mean? But I do, I like Kylo as a character, but I can't think of an example in Star Wars in general where like leading up to one of the climaxes, I was like, I really want this to be the climax. I just, you know, I want it to be
good,
enjoyable, and well done, and so I guess that would be my hope. I don't really have any theories on them. Yeah.
Well, so here, let me ask it this way. So when the next movie opens, and we finally get to the first scene with Kylo Ren in it, where is he? What is he doing? Do you have any idea?
You know. He's probably on a ship.
Hanging out snug.
in space. No, I don't know. I think that, I don't know. I don't know, like, what the big conflict of the next one's gonna be. Like, I don't know. Are they gonna make him and Rey duel in, like, a big epic fashion? Are they going to introduce the Knights of Ren that we've questioned so much about? Cool. Like, there's a lot that they could do, and I don't really have any hypotheses.
Ooh, that'd be pretty sweet if he was training with the Knights of Ren.
Yeah, I have no idea, but I do. I like him a lot as a character. I want to see more of him as a character, but I don't have like a, you know. I really hope he's, you know, talking to somebody specific at the beginning of the movie, or you know what I mean, or I really hope he's on a mission to do this. I just, I'm interested to see where they take it. I will say that this is definitely the least. Sure I have felt about any Star Wars coming into it in terms of what's going to happen. Like Last Jedi, there was a lot that happened that I thought would happen. There's a lot that happened that I didn't really think would happen. But overall, like, nothing was crazy surprising about it to me anyway, other than maybe Snoke's abruptness. Whereas this one, like, I know coming into Last Jedi, a lot of people are like, all right, well, here we go with Empire 2.0, and you know, there's a lot to expect and all that. And with this one, I just have zero clue who's going to do what, how it's going to go down. You know, even just the finer points like that, I don't have any guesses. And that's kind of cool, because it's been a really long time since there's been a Star Wars like that. I mean, with the prequels, we kind of knew everything about the prequels before they were even, you know, in existence, because we knew all the stories. So it was kind of just like we get to see it happen on screen. And once in a while, something surprising would happen. Like, you'd find out that Jango Fett was Boba Fett's dad, or you'd find out that they're all clones, or you'd find out that Yoda was going to kick some ass or something. But in general, the overall arc of the story, you knew what was going to happen 20 years before the movies existed. So this is the first one where, like, we literally have no clue what's going to happen to the galaxy, to the heroes, to the villains. There's no real parallels you can draw to something like Return of the Jedi and say, I bet we see something like that happen. Like, there's really no way to predict it. So I'm really, I'm excited about that, but it's also kind of an interesting time to care so much about it, too.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's kind of what's exciting, I think, is that you're right. This is the least predictable movie I've gone into as far as Star Wars goes. There was things about it that I did, you know, pretty much guess the gist of. I think the timeline of how the movie was going to go, I guess, just based off the trailers. So, like, kind of watching the trailers, I kind of had an idea of when we might see significant moments and what those moments might be. And I was kind of close with those things. And other than that, though, you know, it was a pretty interesting ride. But I think, you know, my other question is, you know, how do you think, if you feel at all that his what's it called, his storyline has maybe changed because of The Last Jedi, like from Force Awakens, so like you know, I felt like he was kind of on a certain path at the end of Force Awakens when he had that like slice in his eye, you know, and we kind of see him like needing to continue his training. Like, do you feel like The Last Jedi has like kind of continued on that path or changed it a little bit, or is he pretty much still kind of going down that same road of, all right, I need to attain like the ultimate dark power or whatever?
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with whether Jared's right about Snoke. If Snoke's still kicking somewhere, I think that it was probably his intent that Kylo did what he did. Like that was like the last bit of like the last push. You know, that's something Palpatine would have done, is fake his own death like that.
Right.
Hold on. Hold on, they just ripped my mic out of my face. Anyway, I think that that's something Palpatine would have done with Vader, is sort of manipulate him into thinking he killed him, and in reality, he's just pushing Vader over that last sort of precipice. So, so if Jared's right about that, I think that's probably where Kylo goes. If Jared's wrong about that, then I think Kylo's probably just trying to kill everything. I don't think he cares. I think he's pretty indiscriminate about who dies and why and how.
So do you think like the whole goal of, all right, I'm trying to be like as much like you, grandfather, like I mean, I know we said a little bit about it with like the smashing of the helmet, but that killed that for sure. I think that now his goal is just total and complete chaos, and
he just wants to start over.
He's almost like, you know, a world burn type character. Like he doesn't care. He's kind of hard to predict. He's really brash, and we've seen that before. But we thought that before the motivation for that was emotional, and I think in reality the motivation for that was sort of psychosis, where he's just absolutely off his rocker, like no chance at not being totally crazy. And and we didn't really think of it that way before. We just wanted to assign some motivation to him that he didn't end up having, and I think it'll be interesting. I mean, he's as close to like a true, pure, like terrorist that Star Wars has ever had. Like I can't think of you know, other than maybe like Maul, but Maul was controlled by a different person that Kylo might not have anymore. So I think he's absolutely off his rocker, and I
wouldn't call Maul a terrorist for sure, because Maul moved with precision like a Sith does. You know what I mean? Like, he's still...
I think that, but he was the most ruthless.
I would say, like...
He had a lot of hatred that didn't really have any bounds to it, and I think that Kylo is close to that, but at the same time, he doesn't have a direction in which the hatred goes. It's just, like I said, he doesn't care. He just wipes everything around him out. And we haven't had a character like that in the movies. We've had characters like that in the extended universe, but in the movies, it's unique. And it's interesting to see Disney do something like that too, because of, you know, what it means for its core audience. I mean, Star Wars is around to sell toys to like 7-year-olds, so it's that's a pretty dark and heavy theme to have, and Kylo seems like he's going down that path again, unless Snoke's like ha ha ha, in which case he's just, you know, taking the next step towards killing Snoke. But I do think he's irredeemable. I think that it would be too predictable for them to say, like, Rey goes in there and says, oh, you're actually good, and he's like, oh, okay, I'm good. I don't think they would do that. I think that they want to get away from that. I think that he's actually pure evil, and it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah, I think... Now, I know that you say you're not quite sure, but I think I have an idea of where Kylo might be when we see the next movie, which is, I think he's going to be, you know, having restructured the Empire into something much more ruthless than we've seen before, where it's going to be the First Order, but to a different level, where it's, like you said, basically scorched earth tactics, where it's like back to
not even tactics, just yeah, not
even
the Empire like destroyed planets, but they had a goal politically, and I don't think he does. I don't think he. I wonder if maybe you're right. Maybe he's like in charge of this crazy evil First Order that's sort of just not even like the Empire.
Like
they're just
enslaving planets
killing
and
everything.
just exactly.
And I
like
wonder if
being
maybe he
crazy.
has some dissension from within because of that, from people who are more driven to fight for like a cause, and they don't see a cause. And I wonder if maybe some of his own people start to, have some dissension around that. It's really tough because he is like straight evil, and no one else is within his regime. Snoke might have been, but he was too dumb. If he is in fact dead, but there's no one else in that regime who's just like pure ruthless evil, and it'll be interesting to see if they are too good to go with it and they sort of resist him, or if they're too weak to resist him and he sort of does it by himself, or if they're too weak-willed to want to resist him, so they all do it anyway. It could be really interesting, but I do think that he's easily the darkest non-redeemable character Star Wars has had, because even the Emperor had a goal and had like a selfish mindset. Like he had something he was aiming for. Kylo does not care about himself. He doesn't care about those around him. He's just working everything. So it'll be really interesting to see what they do with that.
Yeah, and the only reason why I am pretty convinced, while we're semi on the topic, the only reason why I'm pretty convinced Snoke is actually dead is because his death actually makes sense if you're considering them Sith by the rule of two, which I don't know if we are, because he never says like I'm a Sith. Snoke never. I mean, obviously.
No, but he says it's time to complete his training and stuff. I think that they're Sith master and apprentice.
So if you were to think of it like that, then the whole the entire kind of agreement between a Sith and an apprentice is, as long as I show absolute power, then I should be able to. Then as long as I show absolute power, then you follow me in everything I tell you to do.
Right. When you kill me, it's because you deserve my position.
The minute you kill me, it's because I show weakness. Now the weakness that Snoke showed, I think, is his hubris. Got so too big for his britches that he was just sitting there bragging and monologuing basically about how wonderful he was and how Kylo just bowed beneath his feet.
And he was predicting everything that was in Kylo's brain. He was just predicting the target of it. I agree with you. I think that the whole theme of the movie is hubris. The theme with Poe and the theme with Leia and the theme with the whole thing is about over arrogance and hubris in general. So I think that he is dead in keeping with the theme of the movie. But I agree with what Jared says, that he could be just super duper manipulative, but I think that if that's the case, then he deserves a lot more credit than we give him for how strong he is.
I think we can only give him the credit that we can give him, because we haven't seen much from him. What we've seen from him hasn't been the most impressive. So I mean,
just in terms of manipulation, it is, but in terms of actual strength, I mean, the flicking Rey around the room is great. But I mean, any Sith could have done that with an untrained, uncombative prisoner. Like Rey's not fighting. Like if Luke had shown up on the throne room in Jedi and the Emperor tossed him around like that, it would have been the same exact scene, because Luke wouldn't have been resisting it. I just think that that's not a good indicator of his strength necessarily. But if he was being as manipulative as I think he was in terms of them being siblings, then he is a pretty manipulative guy. I just that would probably be his best quality, which is kind of cool, because a lot of people in power in the real world are there due to manipulation and without much strength of their own. And he might be sort of a commentary on that. Again, hubris and arrogance that exists in the real world without much, reason.
Exactly. I definitely agree with that. So I think that that's a big part of Snoke and a big part of the movie as well. And I think that's why we see kind of Snoke get this like chopped in half and we see, you know, Kylo really kind of take the mantle, and like you said, now we have this person who doesn't really have a goal or, you know, an overall, you know, trajectory. He's just kind of like, well, I'm just gonna kill everything until I can't feel anything anymore.
Right. I think that even Vader would show up and just backhand him at this point. I think he's really just his own thing, and you know, he's just gonna, like you said, indiscriminately anything that breathes in front of him, he'll chop it down, no questions asked.
Yeah. If he does go down that path, like you guys are saying, there's going to be no one that's going to want to follow him anymore. So that would be pretty interesting.
Right, that's what I'm saying. There might
the First Order
just
disbanded
like
because of him. Yeah.
Right. And which
we might see the First Order fall apart just because of that. Yeah.
Yeah. And
that's the other thing. Like he wouldn't care. Like he doesn't mind seeing the First Order end. He doesn't mind seeing literally the universe end. So I think that, you know, we're driven to like assign regular narratives to him when really he sort of doesn't have what we're used to seeing, particularly in a Disney-funded movie. It's just not something that, you know, this degree of chaos you would expect. But I agree. I think that he is probably so far off the deep end that they're gonna have to do something really dramatic to take him out, and it might involve other people dying. Like I wouldn't be too surprised if like Rey went to confront him and they both died, or something along those lines. But because that would be again something new for Star Wars, which all we've seen is something new for Star Wars. So we'll see. But I do think that he is like we said, just totally gone. And if somebody looks in the wrong way, he'll slice him up and not think twice. And more so than any other villain we've ever seen. Yeah.
No, that's very true. So yeah, I mean, to me, Kylo, like I said, he had probably the most interesting story arc through this movie. That you know, at least that I was able to discern. I mean, obviously we had some other interesting story arcs. I think the secretly interesting story arc is that of Benicio del Toro's character.
Yeah, he's going to be big in the new one, I think.
He's going to wind up.
He might even have something to do with taking Kylo down. But I think that he is like a true independent. You know, I don't think he's bad. I think he's just totally rogue. And
I think what he says is true. I think when
I don't think he's lying at all.
Movie, I think he's being 100% straight up, where he's like, they're paying me more.
Right. And he's, you know, he's like, there's no good guys or bad guys. Look at this dude. He sold guns to your guys. He sold guns to the other guys. So what are you even talking about? But I do think he's gonna be huge in anything coming next. I liked him a lot too. I thought he played him well, and
I liked him. I didn't like the casino.
Oh yeah, no, me either. But that goes hopefully right.
I don't think anyone liked the casino part. I haven't heard anyone say, "Oh yeah, that was cool."
Someone at work liked it.
Why though? I don't. Like, why would they like it? No redeeming qualities.
I'd have to ask him. Maybe we'll have him as a guest sometime. But he actually, this was, I think he said either his favorite or his second favorite Star Wars, and his first favorite leading up to this one was Revenge of the Sith, which was totally unexpected. So
extremely unexpected.
Yeah, so he has interesting opinions, so it would be cool to kind of ask him about it. But yeah, he really liked the Casino Planet. But he's also, it's kind of a generational thing. He's kind of younger, so he's seen Star Wars. His first exposure to Star Wars was, you know, prequel trilogy, PS2 video games type thing. So he wants to see more of the universe of Star Wars and doesn't care about the old characters like we do. So he was like, any new planet I can get my hands on is good for me. So I think he liked the casino from that perspective. But to me, like put it in some new KOTOR and let us explore it. But we don't need it in the actual stock.
Yeah, especially, well, I mean, unless it's going to be like an actual one that's interesting to look at and not just a casino planet that looks like a casino I've been shooting for.
It was, there was some cool stuff in it, like, you know, like the cow things were cool until they became a storyline, but they were cool looking, and it was cool to know that they were practical effects. the planet itself is interesting, visually. It's just that there's, like you said, that once they get inside the casino, it's like, well, it looks like they're running around France or something. Like it literally doesn't look that different from what we see all the time. And that might have been the point, but
maybe.
But I don't need it.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, like I said, there's like a bunch of characters that are coming up that are gonna have like pretty interesting storylines. We're gonna talk more about more characters individually, just because I'd like to. There's a lot to talk about in The Last Jedi as far as the story arc goes, and I feel like the best way to do it is talk about each character and how they kind of play a role. So next week I want to talk a little bit about Chewie and his role in Star Wars and kind of how it's been affected by The Last Jedi and his role in this new movie and what we liked and what we might have not have liked. And,
he's
we love
nasty.
Chewie.
When he was flying around, oh my god.
Yeah, and that's stuff like that. Like Chewie is a great pilot, but there are things like that I want to talk about because I feel like I said, there's nuances in this movie that you might have missed because you're so focused on all this hype. That there's some stuff.
Yeah,
in the
that's
movie
why you gotta watch it more than once, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. I do. It's definitely worth discussing. And so next week we're going to be talking about Chewie. So if you guys are Chewie fans, if you're any fans of Chewbacca and Han, next week is the week to tune in because we'll be talking about not just Chewie, but Wookiees in general and Kashyyyk and your home planet, and doing a little bit of our history and talking about what we want to see for Chewie in the future. If it's maybe a porg-free future, or if that might be nice. We'll see.
I want it to be porg-filled.
Yeah, porg-filled. Yeah. And,
porg-Olympic.
yeah. So guys, thanks for joining us this week. Said I was having a little one, so that was kind of like preoccupied.
Apology not accepted.
But let us know what you guys want to talk about as far as The Last Jedi goes. If you guys want to talk about any characters or anything, about the story in particular that really grabbed you, that you really want to hear us discuss, let us know. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and all that fun stuff at Talking Sith. Thanks for joining us this week. We talked about, if you're just tuning in at a weird time, go back and listen. It was a pretty fun discussion about the really evil dude. I am Chaz. I will be running a little bit late, but I will be here next week. Adam joins me every week as well. Thanks again for showing up, man, even though you were working. I appreciate it.
Yeah, sorry I was a little late. The whole day I was like, I gotta go early, and then around like 4 or 5 I was like, alright, I got so much to do. I don't know why I have to leave early. I'm just gonna stay, and I like spaced totally. I was like, wait, I gotta go. And it was really bad. So I apologize for being late, but it wasn't as bad as I wanted. I mean, as I thought. My app said I was gonna get home at 8:25, and I actually got home at like 8:12. So it wasn't so bad, but thanks for waiting for me.
Yeah, no problem, man. It was worth discussing because, like I said, I know you really enjoyed Kylo's storyline as well. So I wanted to make sure we actually got a chance to like really talk about it. And thanks, Jared, for supplying the gameplay footage this week, being in the stream. We really appreciate it. Jared's like the one who's actually pretty decent. Yeah, I was gonna say I saw the mall gameplay for a while, and you were kind of ripping through some stuff. That was awesome. You guys were like on a tear at that moment. But yeah, guys. So for cool gameplay and for some more Battlefront 2, you can check us out every Wednesday, and we'll be talking about Star Wars. Last Jedi is really going to be heavily on our minds for a while, so be ready to talk about that for a couple.
I gotta go see it again. Plus, Jared and I were talking last week. I can't be the only one who forgot that Han Solo is like 4 months away. That movie is so close.
I have not forgotten that, and I just don't know. I'm just trying to let that. I feel like we have enough to talk about with The Last Jedi that I kind of want to just let the Han Solo movie happen to us. Like, I don't want to.
I'm stoked to see like a trailer or something, but I can't believe that it's that close. We were talking about it last week. I was like, well, wait a second. So yeah, that's exciting.
And just on a closing note, did you see that Ryan Johnson's already apparently he's going to be starting filming on the newest trilogy pretty soon.
Yeah, principal photography. Yep, they should be starting next year. I know because they're casting now. I got an email about casting. I was like, wow. but yeah, that's pretty cool. Also, this is no bearing on anything we've talked about, but I guess Disney. It's been leaked that someone higher up at Disney said that the Disney executives fully expect the Han Solo movie to be an absolute disaster, to totally bomb. So, so that's kind of scary.
Yeah.
But I'm still holding out hope that it's at least watchable. You know what I mean? Like, if you just go into it with really low expectations, and Gambino's just cool, then that's enough for me. Like,
there's some cool,
I'm really not going
space
to hope
battles.
that it's the best movie of all time. But as
cool
long as he can fly his
that's
ship,
what I was hoping. I was hoping there would be a lot of action to like make up for maybe some of like
a lot of the Falcon.
There's some cheesy moments like this and that.
As long as they can fly the Falcon around and Gambino's sick, and they don't ruin like Han as a character, like he doesn't. I don't know, get married or something. Like, other than that, I can't really think of anything that I really need to see from it. I would like for it to be great, but I will be happy as long as it's not terrible.
Yeah. And I mean, I will say that, like, we have, like, this is one of the movies that we have to be careful about as far as, like I said, we have so much to talk about with The Last Jedi that we can fill up so much time before the Han Solo movie that by the time we can
we'll
start
also probably get
it,
Battlefront DLC by the time it's coming out, so we'll have that to talk about.
Exactly. So I'm honestly hoping to keep myself distracted enough to not dive as deep into the Han Solo movie, so we can maybe just, like I said, experience a little bit more fresh, because I don't want to go into it like I did with The Last Jedi, where I'm like, all right, these are all the things that I know are gonna happen, and then, you know, having to like rewatch the movie just to be able to like enjoy it. So, yeah, exactly. So I mean, the Han Solo movie I'm excited for. We're gonna definitely let you guys know what's going on with it when we can figure stuff out. However, I don't know if we're gonna cover it as extensively as we did The Last Jedi, just because I think we might need to give this movie some breathing room just in case it isn't the best movie. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know.
I said, it doesn't have to be the best. I just need it to not be the worst. That's all.
As long as it's not the worst.
Just be okay.
There's things that they have to do. They have to do the Kessel Run. Like, the Kessel Run has to be in it. There has to be, like you said, they can't have, like, a love interest with Han, I guess, would be okay. But it can't be something that he's, like, obviously, like, committed to. That, like, it has to be Han Solo type of love interest. You know what I mean? It can't be, like, oh, I'm in love and, you know, I might settle down with this girl and then I somehow in the future that got ruined, now I'm alone. Like, that wouldn't work for me. Like,
I wouldn't mind if she just dies.
Yeah, that'd be great. Well, because that would make him a little bit more... Well,
it would make sense as to why he's, like, detached and... Yeah, absolutely.
And why he's so attached to Chewie, like, you know what I mean?
Right. Chewie and they're all they have. But yeah, I don't have any. Who is Andy? Darth Andy 3 with a picture of Spyro.
Yeah,
oh my God. Anyway, I don't really have a problem with much going into it. I just, like you said, I want to see the Falcon fly around. I want to see it be awesome, and if Gambino's cool, then great, and that's all I need.
You know what I can say, that this is one of the movies I'm more excited for the merchandise than I am the actual movie.
Oh yeah, that's true. A Gambino Lando action figure is gonna be sick.
Dude, I'm praying that they come out with a Black Series like Gambino, like for you.
Yeah.
Like
that would be really radical. Yeah, you're right. I haven't even thought about the merch.
Like, the merchandise is way more, but like, dude, Lando shirts with Gambino on them. Come on, dude.
Dude,
like,
the Legos too, man. The Legos gonna be crazy.
Oh no, shit, yeah. Especially because we're gonna get to see like a more like modern, or I shouldn't say modern, but like, you know, get to see a version of the Falcon from when it was like younger. So that'll be cool to be able to get a new type of Falcon too. So if you're into like collecting, like, because I know I have a small collection of like the, ships that they make, like the whatever ships, like the little small ones. But I have a couple of them, so, and they have a couple different Falcons now. So I want to try to snatch another one. So, but yeah, no, the Han Solo movie's coming, and it's coming quick. So we are going to talk about it. But next week we're going to give some attention to our favorite Wookiee of all time. And yeah, so we'll see you then. Once again, find us on